Hello, YouTube viewers. I was out cycling the other day and I was heading off towards a place called Potts Wrigley, which is a climb that I've wanted to do for absolutely ages. But all along the way, I saw a few cycle paths that I thought were just absolutely ridiculous. And that gave me an idea. I thought to start my own channel and call it something like Stupid Cycle Paths or Silly Cycle Paths or something like that. Anyway, so here we are. I live in Urmston, which is sort of southwest Manchester. So to get across to Potts Wrigley, I first got to go sort of around past Manchester Airport and through Wilmslow, which is kind of like the posh bit of South Manchester stroke Cheshire. So here I am on the first cycle path, and straight away you can see a dirty, great big mess there where people have sort of straddled the cycle route with blocks of concrete and wood and things like that to get away from the mud. So it's directed me down this back road, which I'm quite happy with. I don't mind too much coming down here. It gets me away from that busy main road, which is a 50. But the trouble is, when you get to the end of it, all the cycle signs have disappeared, and I've got a four-way crossroads here. I can go left, but that takes me to some sort of gate into an industrial estate, or straight on and right. And I'm completely at a loss where to go here because the signs don't direct me. So I'll consult the phone and have a look at the map. And after looking at the map, I decided that in the absence of signs, the best thing to do would probably be to go straight back down to the road, because probably the cycle path would pick back up again there. And here I am down at the end of the road, and that looks exactly the same as the signed cycle path that I was just on and that I've just left. And it's brought me out to a bus stop. So I don't think this is a cycle path. So after a bit of deliberating, and I did have a 50-mile ride to do, I thought, sod it, I'm not going to explore, I'm not going to start looking around, I'm just going to go onto the road because I know at least I'm going in the right direction. And this road, it's got a 50-mile-an-hour limit, but it's pretty wide, it's not too bad, I don't mind cycling on it too much. So we come up again to another bus stop, and I think, well, maybe it's a cycle path, maybe it's not, I don't know, not quite sure where it is. But anyway, it's absolutely identical to the cycle path that I was on before, bar a few blue signs. I would just say, look at the acres of space on the left there. Why they can't build a segregated cycle facility down there, I don't know. It seems like the obvious thing for me. Anyway, council should easily be able to build that. And did you notice, now I'm on the cycle path, this is obvious like a cycle path, but did you notice the entrance to it? Just imagine you're on the road. Would you have seen that? I don't think I would have seen it. Obviously I didn't see it, because I just rode straight across and up onto the bus stop. But look at it, it's caked in mud, it's filthy, there's no blue paint or orange paint, red paint, there's no signs or anything. So a bit useless really. So anyway, here we are on the cycle path, and we're about to go under the original Manchester Airport runway. That big concrete block isn't particularly useful. I think that's to stop cars coming down there. But this is one of the nicer aspects of this cycle lane. Just coming under the runway now. Like I say, this is the old one, so you'll notice that actually the wall on the right, I don't think it's a solid wall. I think it's some sort of partition wall, because I'm still riding on the road there, and that's obviously a pavement to the left. And you'll notice the difference when I come up to the second tunnel. Also, what you might have noticed there is that those doors on the right, those red doors, I presume they're sort of emergency access from the roadside in case you break down, but they do open inwards. So beware if you're cycling past them, because if somebody opens one of those as you're going past it at 25 miles an hour, it's going to hurt. Anyway, so I'm back on the cycle path here, between the runways, and yeah, it's the age-old problem. Somebody's decided that there's not going to be no pedestrians or cyclists coming down here, so let's just park our van on here and do whatever we need to do. I kind of wish they just parked it one way or the other and not dead central, but the guys are just doing the job, and they were perfectly polite and apologised, and there's no problem. So this is the second runway. This is much more recent. There was a lot of things in the news in the past few years about this. You may remember that fella called Swampy, who was hiding in trees and things. This is what he was protesting about, him and his mates. I will show you something interesting here. See the doors there? Split doors. So if somebody does open those doors, you're not going to get a face full of wood. So that's a little bit better. So we're outside now, back along the same road. This cycle path here, I'm quite happy to ride on this. It's it's reasonably smooth. It's it's got a few twigs and leaves on it and things, but I don't mind that too much. It's better than riding on the road there. It's nice and clear, lovely sunny day, so I'm quite happy on this. We're just coming down to a roundabout now, and there's one or two interesting things on this roundabout. Interesting in that it shows what lack of thought has been given to the needs of cyclists. So, we come around here, there's the first exit there. Now, if I was to stop there and look over my shoulder, it's pretty difficult to see what's coming. But fortunately, I was able to get straight across that time. Now, did you see that? I'll go back because I didn't see that. That is where the cycle lane goes. It goes off to the right there. Yeah, not a great deal of thought put into that. And I didn't notice it. You can just see a sort of barely legible painted bicycle on the road. And I think the idea is there to go across the roundabout and get on the other side of the road. Because I do know, having ridden down this hill many, many times, that there's a cycle lane there, although it's a bit rubbish. So here I am cycling along here now. I remember cycling along this section and thinking, I've gone wrong here somewhere. And as soon as I saw this curb, which clearly isn't designed for cyclists to get up and down, I knew that I was on the pavement. So I was starting to wonder, well, maybe I should turn around or something, or maybe I should just get on the road and I'll see how it goes. Maybe it turns back into a cycle path, but it doesn't. It gets narrower and narrower, and you can see nobody's come down here with a brush or a shovel in a very, very long time. So it's completely chocker, full of rubbish, and sod it. I'll just get on the road. It's easier. Anyway, a mile or so later on, come around this roundabout and missed it. There it is. That's the entrance back onto the cycle lane, indicated by that one tiny little sign up there, which is pretty easy to miss when you're doing 25 miles an hour. So rather than turn around or do anything like that, the easiest thing to do is just get back up onto the cycle path and start cycling. And at this point, I'm thinking, this is all right. It's quite nice and wide. It's a shared path. I've got to watch out for pedestrians, but I know there's nobody really lives around here, so the chances of coming across any pedestrians wandering around are pretty slim, really. So it gets me away from that road, which is pretty fast and pretty narrow and not particularly nice to cycle on, if I'm honest. You can see there it's only a week or so, week and a half maybe, after the vicious storms which we had towards the end of autumn. So it's covered in all sorts of detritus, which nobody's cleaned up yet, but I can forgive them that. It's a bit of an awkward entrance there. Really, I shouldn't have to cede priority there, but there's nobody coming along, so I'll just carry on. And sod it. The cycle path just stops, disappears, so it's back onto the road. What's the point? Anyway, this is on the back end of Wilmslow now, and I'm trying to find the cycle path which I've just passed. There it is. You can just see the curbstones dip down there slightly, and there's that one tiny little sign there. It's kind of like coming down the motorway at 70, 80 miles an hour, getting to a slip road with only 50 yards notice to get off the motorway. Not very good, really. There should be some paint or something on the road there. Or perhaps the cycle lane should be underneath one of those arches. Anyway, it's another problem that we have to deal with. So I'm coming down here and I'm trying to there's a great big sort of dual carriageway, or maybe it's a single carriageway, but it's a very fast road that I wouldn't want to cycle on. So I'm trying to get up to that to get to where I need to go. And you can notice straight away here the surface is terrible, and it gets even worse because now I have to dismount, which is just a nuisance. Anyway, after looking at the map again, just to check that I was going in the correct direction, and seeing that there was no other way around these steps, I thought, sod it, so I got off my bike and I picked up the bike and carried it up the steps, which is a bit of a nuisance, but I've still got somewhere to go, so there's no choice there. and onto this nice cycle path, which is fantastic. Which is, what can you say about this? It's, the surface is fairly decent. It must have been laid at some point, probably at the same time as the road. It's lovely and smooth. There's no tree roots stuck out there. But look at that sign up there on the top left. Cyclists on the left, pedestrians on the right. Now, pay attention to that, and I'll show you something odd in a second as we carry on. Down to the first junction, and we'll pause again just here. Now, bear in mind what the sign said, cyclists on the left. Look at that. The paint on the road, on one side says pedestrians left, cyclists right. On the other side, it says cyclists left, pedestrians right. Your guess is as good as mine. There's a cyclists dismount sign up there, which I understand why they've done it, but honestly, if you were in your car and you had to get out and push your car across every single side road and junction you came across, pretty soon you'd find another way to go, and that's why we hate them. That nice woman in the Golf there has let me across. Another sign up there, cyclists left, pedestrians right. Now we come down this road here a bit. Remember, this is just a converted pavement, so it's not really designed for cyclists. It's just got a bit of paint down there, and you can see that because when we come up to these lights here, the cycle path just disappears, and that's not a cycle crossing there. There would be a little green bicycle on the lights if it was. So I did something which is probably illegal, to be honest. There's another problem. I'm back on the cycle lane now, you can see by the paint, but a really great big traffic light in the way. It's just another obstacle that you have to avoid, and it's just one more reason why we choose to go on the roads rather than on a converted pavement like this. Another cyclist's dismount sign, which is just a real nuisance. You see that tight curve around there, it's difficult to see pedestrians coming round, so if there was another cyclist coming around there, for instance, you might just go head straight into them and have a pretty nasty crash. It's not particularly well thought out, that. But this path is sort of okay, I guess. It's still a converted pavement, so it's not ideal. But if you look at the paint on the road, cyclists left, pedestrians right, but the sign at the top says pedestrians left, cyclists right. If you don't believe me, look again. Look at the sign top right, and look at the cycling icon on the pavement in the middle of the screen. So which side of the pavement are you supposed to go on? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Does the council know? I don't think anybody knows. And that's the whole point, really. These cycle lanes, no thought's been put into them. It's just a box ticking exercise. If you were in Amsterdam cycling along something like this, you wouldn't have any of these problems. And as a result of those problems, you can just see what I've done there. I've decided, sod it, I'll go on the road, it's a nice day. I want to get to where I'm going. I don't want to be messing around with these cycle lanes all day long. And look, I've increased my speed straight around that roundabout, don't have to give way to anyone, and off I go to enjoy the rest of my bike ride.